Up the New Zealand Warriors. Last night was absolutely incredible. I know the scoreboard did not go our way. 42-12 against the Brisbane Broncos. Unfortunately, getting knocked out of the final series this year. But I do want to make this video because honestly, this season has been an absolute joy throughout this whole year. From what we come from last year, what we were as a club last year during COVID and everything looked like we were going to be shot for another couple of years. All pundits coming out there and saying that it's going to take a long time for us to rebuild and get back to a club that getting to a sturdy base, especially when you think of other clubs in the league at the moment that are very much struggling with their development systems and media around them and all that sort of stuff. But I honestly wanted to make this video just to say thank you to the New Zealand Warriors and, what they have done as a collective, Webby and the CEO and just the whole club in general, what's happening at New Zealand Warriors. Something is special is brewing at New Zealand, and it's just absolutely amazing to see NRL rugby league get put on the map in New Zealand the way it is right now and actually becoming sort of like a pop culture sort of thing and being very popular to be a Warriors fan now, which is absolutely incredible, especially when you've been a Warriors fan for so long. And I know there's a lot of you guys that are day one, 1995 Warriors fans and all that sort of stuff. So it's pretty much it's been such a ride this season, and it really did cap it off after, last night's game, turning up to Suncorp and walking down to Caxton with a good mate of mine and all that, and just looking at, the Warriors fan base at that the hotel on the corner of the Caxton and that, and yous were absolutely pumping. It made me smile and everything, and just made me proud to be a Warriors fan. And I think this is what the season has been. What Webby has done is instilled just a proudness to be a Warriors fan, especially, with all the big performances this year, the resilient performances this year, moments in games where we were just we don't turn away. Even though our performance last night was not up to scratch, defensively, we did let a lot of offloads go, and our ruck speed, we couldn't hold down the ruck at all. We weren't slowing down the ruck. The Broncos were just way too quick. Their second phase footy is just way too lethal. And obviously, you're going to call referee calls. There was a couple really horrendous ones and all that. But honestly, we weren't up to scratch defensively tonight, and that was the biggest problem overall. But I don't want to take away from that, from that little sour moment, because, 42-12, it's not the best score, for a final series and that. It more so is, I want us to be happy about what our team has, become, especially the building blocks that we have put into place to what we can become in the future, because I honestly think that we have one of the strongest bases of a rugby league team to grow and become something like the Penrith Panthers and multiple other teams that can become that. So really, really do appreciate being a Warriors fan these days, and just, being amongst the movement that it is right now, up the wires, trends everywhere. You got international, it's going international. I think NRL fans should also be embracing this and should also fall in love with what this culture and what's happening here, because last night at Suncorp, I'm not too sure if a lot of you heard, and that it's really tough at times for a team to go to Suncorp, especially in the final series, and to have a voice at Suncorp. It's actually pretty mental, and you can understand why Origin is such a big thing in Queensland and at Suncorp, and that when the amount of Broncos fans turned out last night would be exactly the same as the amount of Queensland fans that roll up. It's really, really tough to really hold your own with those fan bases, especially when the Broncos are doing really well. And I thought we did a really great job. There was chants going up everywhere, and it just gave me that feel of a proper sporting environment, when you watch the EPL, when you watch the NBA, the NFL, and mostly the EPL where was just chants going all the time. Even when we were down, a majority of our fan base were all there. We all waited all the way to the end of the game. There was more Broncos fans probably leaving to catch the traffic because they were beating us by 30 or whatever. But you know what I mean? We stayed there all the way through, even though our boys maybe weren't up to scratch in that night, but we do appreciate what they've done throughout the whole season. So really, really incredible to see the boys get to there. And just in touching on also our New South Wales Cup team also making it so far in their season as well, only, get pipped off by the Bears that are going up against the Rabbitohs in the finals here. We had a chance to go into the grand final there as well. But just in our first year back in, from back home, and with the whole new system with Webster coming over, and me, I honestly was when we first signed Andrew Webster, I was man, I don't know where we're going to go from here. I've seen this happen with the Warriors at times where we sign a coach that we think that could have something but may not have it. Fuck, we hit the nail on the head with Webby, man. All the structures that he's put into place and just the positive vibe he gives around the club. You hear all the boys saying in the preseason, it was probably the funnest preseason they had, but also they slimmed down. They've done all the hard stuff. but they made it fun, and it made it fun this year being a Warriors fan. Like, I know that many of you, like, from especially the last 3 years with COVID, how much of a roller coaster ride it has been for being a Warriors fan, going into games where we were ahead by 30 and getting, like, not by 30, because that would be an all-time friggin' comeback or whatever. But when we're ahead by a lot and teams pip us on the last minute, or the Sharkies games, I think it was last year, where we got beat by pretty much 11 or 12 men on the field. Like, those performances really hurt as a Warriors fan, and you kind of just chalk it up as like, yeah, it's just the Wars will be Wars. But it wasn't even Wars back then. It was, the Warriors will be Warriors. But man, like, how far we have turned this club around, and it's absolutely incredible. I cannot appreciate it enough, and especially just to be a part of a fan base. Like, we were cheering as loud as we could last night, even when things weren't going our way and when things were happening. Like, just the presence to be there at Suncorp Stadium with another, what, I'm thinking it was about 40, bro. The turnout at Suncorp, the atmosphere was absolutely incredible. So, man, I'm so appreciative of the season. That's why it's no big sour taste in my mouth after the loss over the last night. Obviously, I'm going to probably see a whole lot of people who come out about the referees, about, like, different moments in the game and what we've done wrong and what we've done right. And, there's going to be all different ways. But I feel like, we should just sit down and appreciate the season for what it was. I know this wasn't the best result in our favor. I know our defense wasn't up to scratch in this game, but I thought we did really, really well to hold into a 1-12 contest at halftime. And then it just blew out really late due to the amount of, like, defensive work and missed tackles and that earlier in that first half. Even though, there was about 50-50 in a possession sort of rate and that, we had to do a whole lot of work getting back on our line due to, like, Reece tearing us apart off offloads, Ezra Mam tearing apart off offloads. Flegler had a great game. You had, like, Billy Walters just, like, running around across the park and that. And you got to go up against, like, one of the best 1-2 punches in the comp, or not even just a 1-2 punch, but forward pack in the comp with Payne Haas and Paddy Carrigan. We're talking about Origin. But I thought the boys, like, for the season, Adam Fanor-Blake's been absolutely incredible this season. Tohu Harris has been just our mainstay, our captain, just amazing. SJ, man, I'm going to make a video on SJ a little bit later on, my thoughts on SJ overall as, like, a collective player. Is he the greatest New Zealand player of all time? In my opinion, he's my, like, greatest player of all time, and it's only because subjectively, he's the one that made me love rugby league. Darren Lockyer made me love rugby league back in the day when I was little. And then, Stacey Jones and stuff, and watching Stacey, as a small man do what he does. And that was like, all that sort of stuff. But when I saw Sean Johnson touch a football field and do some of the things he's done, man, like, I fell in love with rugby league. And I give all the credit to, Sean Johnson for what he's done for me. It's sort of like, a lot of people will tell you, with soccer or, football, Ronaldinho made you fall in love with soccer. He wasn't the best, overall football player on the pitch, but he just made you fall in love with soccer. And Derrick Rose for the NBA made me fall in love with basketball. And just players like that just have a little bit more prestige. And that's why I love sport. And Sean Johnson had done that for me. And he's the reason why I'm a Warriors fan today. And just incredible, man. Oh, bro, like, how far we have come and how far we still have to go. I think our development system is absolutely amazing. Our New South Wales Cup team's got so much talent through it. If we just hold on to these players, develop them like the Penrith Panthers do, where, our depth has been amazing this year. Just on 1 year, one off season with Webby, where he's created this, like, system of, some players that we thought to start the season maybe will fall out of the team or this and that. They've become, like, mainstays and, like, players in our depth system. Like, Dylan Walker has been one of the best signings for us because of that. He can play in multiple different positions. But when we lose one, I know when we lose SJ, we do feel like we fall away a little bit. But give, like, Volkman and all those younger boys time, like Metcalf, and especially when Chanel comes back, because when he falls out and then, like, those boys will step up. Those boys will step up because we see it in New South Wales Cup. They can control that game. It's just a little bit of a more time to get back into the NRL grind sort of thing. And, like, a playmaker takes a lot of time to get there. But you just think of it that way. Like, if our centers drop out, we still got, like, Big Ali to come up. And if a couple of wingers go out, we still got Edward Kossi. We still got two. We still got a whole lot of players in New South Wales Cup that can step up. If some second rowers go down, we got Halasima. We got Going. We got a whole lot of players in that sort of system there. And if hookers go down, we got Freddie Lussick, and then we got Paul Roach. We got a whole lot of different players that are finding their feet now. We've got a system, and like winning games in multiple other leagues. So really, really proud of our boys this season. Really, really proud of our season. Like, I can't say it enough. I'm probably going around in circles, so I'm probably going to end it up there. But overall, not too much I want to touch on the game. Overall, like, I thought that, we had moments of like really, really good moments, like Dallin Watini's Lesnar going over. Chancey had an amazing game, in my opinion. I felt like I was screaming his name all night. It was absolutely incredible. And, Shawnee had the ball on the string in moments and stuff. And if a couple of things did go away, maybe we could have made it close, maybe 1-12 and that, but it wasn't our way. And, the Brisbane Broncos, I said this a little while ago, the Panthers and the Broncos just on that other level, but you don't win a premiership in 1 year, and it takes time to build into that. And I feel like we're on definitely the right way. You think of like the old Panthers side before they started clicking together, and that I don't remember that first season, where they've gone from like bottom 8 team to like top 3 straight away. Like, the Broncos last year, they fell all the way out of the 8, lastly, from being a top 3 team and just fell all the way. Seasons take time to build to where we need to get to, but we're on the right track. And, for the season to get to where we are now, this is our base level. This is our base level. We have so much more to grow. We have so much more to go as well. The preseason next season, hopefully, is really good. RTS coming to the club, Chanel coming over, and just seeing our team for our preseason. I'm really excited to give you a whole lot of content over that, our preseason trials, and my thoughts on who's going to drop in, drop out, and like just talk around the New Zealand Warriors, because man, oh man, we are an incredible club at the moment, and we got the potential to be a Penrith Panthers in that, where we have a massive development system due to our talent as the New Zealand base overall, and just being a one club country and all that sort of stuff. So pretty incredible. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you guys really did enjoy the video and also enjoyed the game last night. If you did go to the game, I'm starting to lose my voice as that. I just want to knock this video out there so you guys got my absolute feel over the game as well. I done my review over the game and all that. Not too much going in depth. I can go in depth for footy and all that, but I just wanted to give you the emotional side of things, because sport, it gives you these sort of feel, this sort of emotion. It's like what's going on in my head right now. And, even though we lost 42-12, pretty disappointing if you were going to get like, if you think in your head, like you just got beat by 30 and that. But I'm so happy with our team. I'm so happy with our season, and nothing can really let me down at that. So really do appreciate you guys. Hope you guys have a great weekend so far. And yeah, up the wires, baby. Take it easy.